Hello and welcome to CNR Extra from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Nanatufu Boateng. Coming up. 74 Ghanaians evacuated from troubled Sudan to arrive in Ghana on Tuesday, May 2nd, after successfully crossing the Sudan-Ethiopia border. Also coming up, management of the Feteman Senior High School in the Central Region appealed to government to provide basic infrastructure for teaching and learning.
In that hall, it means dining hall and all other social gathering takes place under the tree over here. Just imagine in the rainy season when children are seated here eating and it's raining.
Still to come, Pharmacy Council warns wholesalers of pharmaceutical products to desist from selling unregistered medicines to retailers. And later, Citi FM and Citi TV's family consecration service comes off at the Winners Chapel in Accra.
We facilitate the reception of your miracle. So no preaching, prayer, worship. It's at the tail end that we do anointing service.
Okay.
Many thanks to you for joining us. The show is interactive, and so we'd like to hear from you. You can join us on YouTube, where we're streaming live at CityTube, and of course on all our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Join us. Let us hear from you. Let us know what you think. But with me in studio this morning is Hansen Ajiman. Good morning.
Good morning, Anna.
Good to see you and good to have you.
It's a good one. Labor Day today.
Exactly.
And family consecration ongoing.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Awesome. Let's go straight into our very first story. Some good news there because some 76 Ghanaians who found themselves in troubled Sudan have been evacuated, and we're to expect them in the country soon.
And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration says 76 Ghanaian nationals have successfully crossed the Sudan-Ethiopia border with the assistance of officials of the Ghana Embassy in Ethiopia. The ministry says the nationals are currently in Addis Ababa with plans in place to fly 74 of them to Ghana on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023. Now, a statement from the ministry says one footballer and 2 engineers have been assisted by officials of the Ghana Embassy in Egypt to cross over to the Egyptian border post of Wadi Khalifa, north of Sudan, while 2 other footballers are going through immigration formalities. The ministry says it is committed to evacuating all willing Ghanaians, that's Ghanaian nationals, in Sudan to safety to neighboring countries such as Ethiopia and Egypt.
I think we must commend the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for the level of proactiveness they attached, and of course the urgency with which they were able to make arrangements and trigger processes to evacuate these Ghanaians from troubled Sudan.
It's a step in the right direction. I mean, if you look at the stories that we get and reports that we're getting from Sudan, it's important that every government moves in to protect its citizens. Even though the ideal thing would have been expected that as a sub-region and as a continent, we take steps towards making sure that there's some form of peace and maintain order in Sudan. You would also want to be realistic and know that the first thing that you have to do is to take your citizens out of harm's way. And states do have every singular right to do so. And I think that it's good that we've done that. We know that they've crossed to a safer place relatively. And steps have been taken by government. I remember when the issue started, we started getting reports from Ghanaian students who were there. And I'm thinking that we might have learned in recent time. We've had situations of evacuation. Talk about the Russia-Ukraine war. So I'm COVID-19 China. So I'm thinking that the experience that we've garnered in the Easterns have helped in so far, at least getting that smooth evacuation. But as I indicated, beyond that, I mean, we can't continue having countries in Africa going through these situations. We are pushing the idea of the African continental free trade. Without peace across the sub-region, that in itself will not be possible. And so it's important that various leaders, the African Union, would take measures to make sure that some of these things are addressed as early as possible. Whatever efforts that we can put in place to make sure that we bring the situation under control is very important. I saw a video recently about how nightlife was like in Sudan, and for it to just have changed just within, I mean, I think they are in the 16th day or so of the continual fight, and it's very worrying. I mean, to think that a place like Osu, which on a very Friday night you get young guys and even I mean pass there and spend their night, and within some few days then
all that has to cease because there's fighting and all that.
It's a sad one, and we hope that some of these political issues
quite disappointing that the ceasefire that was brokered by Blinken hits the rocks, and of course there's fighting again in Sudan. But then of course we're expectant, and we're hoping that all this will come to an end soon, and then life in Sudan returns to normalcy. Let's move into some other stories, where a rather unfortunate one, because a young man in his mid-30s met his untimely death through an accident in the northern region.
A man in his mid-30s met his untimely death on Sunday after he was hit by a speeding V8 vehicle at Ghanaian near Bimbala in the northern region. The accident, according to eyewitnesses, occurred after the driver of the speeding vehicle lost control and hit the young man who was standing by the roadside. It took the intervention of the police to prevent the youth from setting the vehicle ablaze. There's more in this report by our northern regional correspondent, Mohammed Aminu Alabira.
It was a sad scene at Gangoyili in the Nanumba North municipality in the northern region when a 34-year-old man, Armiao, met his untimely death on Sunday. According to residents, the victim was returning home from a funeral he had attended at the community. Armiao died at the spot, and this, according to eyewitnesses, angered residents who attempted to set the vehicle ablaze. It took the timely intervention of the police to save the occupants of the vehicle and the car. Some eyewitnesses have been narrating the incident to Citi News.
We're having funeral here, and people organized here for the funeral. When we are done with the prayers, one of our family members was going home, and the car comes suddenly and then hit him down.
Where from the car?
The car was from Tamale side.
Okay. Yes, and was he also on the road? Was your man on the road?
No, our man was not on the road.
And so how did it happen?
Yes, he was coming. This car was coming with top speed, and then this, our poor man lying down here, was also coming out. So he saw the car coming, and he wanted to escape himself. No, the car also took the same direction.
From the farm coming home, when we met the crowd, so we stopped. I questioned, and they said a car knocked a motor rider, and he has passed on. So I went and saw the disease. Actually, he was dead. And we came back, but the tension I met wasn't bearable at all. It was unbearable because we could not control the situation. But by God's grace, we were able to control the crowd or the angry mob. We were able to control them.
So what would have
the advice is, in fact, this has been a global, or let me say, a universal case to the whole of Nano.
The road is the Eastern Corridor Road under construction. Drivers and motorbike riders are usually on top speed, even when approaching communities along the road. This, residents say, contributes to the numerous accidents on the stretch. The residents are therefore appealing to the government to construct speed ramps on the road.
The road has been well built. It's a very nice road, but it goes with its disadvantages. One is what has just happened. Accidents can happen anytime. So we are appealing to government or the road builders who are concerned to do their best. Try to put speed ramps on the road for us. Wherever there is a community, they should give us at least 2 or 3 speed ramps.
Our lives are in danger. Always we are encountering these accidents. Always. This is not the first time we encounter this accident. Yes. Yeah, actually we lost our man because we are afraid.
Before Citi News got to the scene, police had moved the body to the Bimbila hospital.
Accident has just happened at Ghanaian on the Bimbila Yendi Road. A young man was hit by this car, and as you can see, young people from here or the people of Ghanaian came out in their numbers to attack the ground. By the intervention of the police, the guy too has lost, and the young man has unfortunately lost his life. From Ghanaian, Mohammed Amin M. Aladiba, reporting for Citi.
Quite disheartening, quite unfortunate that we're recording some of these accidents, especially at a time where the National Road Safety Authority, per the statistics they have, provisional that is recording month-on-month reductions in road traffic accidents. And so if we're seeing a report like this, I mean, so much effort has been put into ensuring road safety. And so it just goes to discipline on the roads and, of course, ensuring safety on the roads by individuals.
And also to the point that when we construct roads, we need to look at the setting and where we've constructed the road. I mean, if you drive across the country and go to certain communities, and even in Accra, how many communities, Nana, have you gone to that you've not seen people take their own initiatives to do speed ramps?
Yeah.
A number of them. And it's because, you know, it's a community living, and they are familiar to crossing the road at any point in time. But as development progresses and development reaches some of these areas, good roads come in.
Yeah.
The driver from Accra, who has been driving in a very traffic congested city, get to this part of the country, is given a good road, and with less traffic, there's that temptation that you get a driver driving at a top speed because all the avenues available to him or her to drive at a top speed is in place. And so for me, I don't frankly think that speed ramps will be an answer to the issue. Because again, it
may not be the final solution, but at least it may go a long way.
But this is a highway.
Well, if it is, then at least maybe from the entrance to the towns where these pockets of towns are located, at least perhaps some warning signs or some introductory signs to let you know that you are entering into a community, and so you should reduce your speed limits.
And that is very important. But even without these signs, I think that for people who use these roads, often than not, they are familiar with the area.
Yeah.
And these are people that most likely you get who will go there twice or thrice in a month. And so they may be familiar with the area. And it's important that road users, motorists particularly, because if you listen to the narrative, it looks as though the driver lost control.
Yeah.
The victim here at least anticipated same. In his thinking to run to safety, he ended up running into the same direction for which the driver was seeking to go into. I mean, all this could have been avoided if perhaps the driver was not moving the vehicle at a speed that he couldn't control. And it's important that all these coordinated efforts need to come in place to make sure that we address issues like this so that we don't keep on changing the lives of people. And I always bring this, that, you see, we were talking about the statistics from the National Road Safety Authority. Usually when accidents occur, that's where it ends. It becomes just another number.
Yeah.
But for me, it is not another number. There's a man in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
In the average Ghanaian community, he may be a father, he may be an uncle, he may be a son, he may be a breadwinner.
Yeah.
And what happens is that if an entire family of about, say, 10 depends on him. You've, just by that singular act, changed the direction of that family just by that level of recklessness. And so we are supposed to entreat everybody to make sure that we take safety into our own hands and adhere or go according to the rules, and also call on authorities to do the needful to make sure that we avoid some of these needless deaths.
All right, let's move into some other stories now. The Pharmacy Council has had cause to complain because clearly unregistered, unlicensed retailers are on the rise. Let's take a look at this.
The Pharmacy Council has urged wholesalers of pharmaceutical products to desist from engaging drug peddlers. And this is part of warnings that was given by the council. And it says unlicensed medicine retailers are also supposed to be addressed. The following report filed by Daniel Odrumensa has more.
In a bid to curtail the menace of drug peddling, the Pharmacy Council has advised pharmaceutical wholesalers in the country to avoid selling their products to unlicensed medicine retailers and peddlers. According to the council, drug and van peddling have become a major healthcare challenge due to the difficulty in tracing the sources of some of the drugs and medications sold by these unlicensed individuals not captured by their data. The council also urged wholesalers to block all leakages in their operations, which makes it easier for some of their workers to illegally sell to the peddlers. Citi News engagement with some wholesalers of pharmaceutical products who spoke on condition of anonymity at the Central Business District in Accra say sensitizing market women, who are usually the customers of drug peddlers, can curtail the menace.
Not selling to them is not a problem, but no matter what the situation will be, they will still do it. So I in my view, it's just a matter of educating them. And if there is a way out, they can sell without letting the efficacy of the medicine come down. They should educate them so that they continue doing what they are doing. Because for me, there's no way that this thing can stop. It's just a matter of putting heads together. All the shareholders in the pharmaceutical business, they should put their heads together and then they draw a plan or strategy. They may have something that they can do. For me, I can't sit here and say do this, but it's just a matter of letting all the shareholders come together. It's a matter that has come up, so we are all in a situation of putting heads together and then solve the problem.
To say, Abba, Pharmacy Council for advice wholesalers to say, Ma Obia and Ton, Emma peddlers. The patcho woo. Wholesaling, and ye or kind ship, and now me wholesaling. For instance, say, or kind ship for wholesalers, Casse, or Montan, dear ma peddlers, Obia and any break, and young crime pen over tardy, and the wholesaling. Our region bia then never bet my quarter. But me, my dear, me name say Bebwan say, Ye mammy, or dream. Young animal, dream, you will find them, and I dear. I want a message say, Ye my education, and come more. Final consumer, ye educating is said. So whoop a draw at tra. Drugstore, and I say, pharmacy shop, a child who is here. Baby, I will be open ye be. So na mo resto mu na koto bibi e ho na se okoto na se o how bi kra ba and they wouldn't baby a okoto ade no.
Thomas Tabao is an unlicensed medicine retailer. He shared his story with Citi News and he pleaded with relevant authorities to aid in the acquisition of a license.
So when we are going to buy medicine, we check the expiring date and we know how dosage we have to give the person based on the person's condition.
Okay. So how are you able to determine the dosages?
Because there is when you something like Gibidol, for instance, there is a small booklet on it. So when we buy it and we don't know the dosage, we will take it, the booklet, then we read through. So when we read through, we see the dosage and the rates. Then when the person's condition also tell us the number of medicine the person have to take a day. So even it teaches us to, when it is overdose, how the person will feel. So we normally give the person to, concerning the ages of the persons too is also concerned.
How long does it take you to learn the dosages?
Oh, me, for instance, I am having my phone. So when let me say I get a strange medicine which I don't know the dosage. When I read the booklet and I do not understand, I use my phone and Google. I can sit and learn, because when people are not with me, I use my latest hand to learn the dosage of those medicines. And I learn side effect too.
So it means that all these drugs that you have packed, all these medicines that you have packed in the in this polythene, you know all the dosages, right?
Oh yes, I know.
So, assuming I have, I have stomach pains, what are the likely products that I'm supposed to take?
For the stomach pain, that one I need to ask you, how does it do you? How does it start? Someone may be saying that maybe when he's walking around, the thing is biting him. It might, like a stomach bite, he'll be walking and the thing will be paining. So then I will first ask you whether did you deworm yourself? Worms too can do that. So I'll ask you how many months did you deworm, how did you deworm yourself? If you say no, I'll first give you dewormer so that you deworm yourself. So when you deworm and then it doesn't work, I can give you number 10 liver salts that you take.
Some market women explained their reasons for purchasing medicine from illegal peddlers rather than going to the pharmacy.
But when you're in TSA, you catch them and say, Omunjae. Serious, said.
Say we do me draw, so what I say. We do me draw. You say you be and then I am
Meanwhile, the head of enforcement and intelligence gathering at Pharmacy Council, William Rootman, outlined plans that are underway to curtail the menace of drug peddling.
We have a three-pronged approach. One is to engage the wholesalers. That's the first one. To engage them, to talk to them about the issues involved. The second one is to team up with the police to arrest these peddlers and prosecute them, because the law that with which we operate clearly frowns on it. The third one, of course, to organize some sensitization for the traders or for people who patronize some of these or who buy some of these medicines. So it's a process. We've gone through the first stage. As I wouldn't want to talk too much, maybe, but we are meeting with the police to assist us to arrest the peddlers. If we arrest them, we will dig down to wherever they get these medicines from.
Well, so there's the Health Professions Regulatory Act, Act 857, which underpins the operations of the Pharmacy Council and, of course, pharmacy retailing and wholesaling in the country. And so I want to believe that this law must be applied to the letter to ensure that all these bus vending and drug peddling in the streets, I mean, it should be a thing of the past. We heard from that inset. The gentleman is not even sure how to prescribe the medicines.
But how can you be sure to prescribe a medicine if you've not gone to medical school?
You've not been trained.
If you are not a pharmacist, how can you be certain that you can just go to Google and just check for the dosage that you're supposed to give? And then you are doing try and error. I'll ask you, have you dewormed? If you've not dewormed, I'll give you a dewormer first.
Exactly.
And then it'll work. But you see, the solution is a multifaceted one. And then if we don't understand the problem on the various levels that they come, we may never able to solve it. I think that it has an implementation issue, implementation problem, which you talked about the act or regulations regarding some of these things. It also has a behavioral issue and also a financial leg. If you are not able to solve all these three, now just quickly on behavioral. I mean, in Ghana, we are still so in tune with the idea of self-medication. I mean, even people who are within the middle class who've gone to school, he has headache. The next thing he thinks is to go to the pharmacy, not to go and tell the pharmacist what is bothering him or her, but to tell the pharmacist, oh, I need this particular kind of painkiller. That person has stomach ache. Just randomly, he self-diagnoses himself and goes to the pharmacy. So that's our behavior as a people. And so if there's this behavior and the person has been doing it, and one way or the other, it's been working for him. If the financial challenge comes in, and the person knows that if I go to the pharmacy, even where I can get a prescribed medicine, it will be very costly. And there's this drug peddler on the street that sells it thrice or 4 times less than the price I'm going to buy. Because of the behavior of self-medication, the person will not find it difficult going to that particular peddler, because in his or her thinking, it is going to work. And one way or the other, it may work for them, but the side effect may not show itself until a certain stage when it is out of control. So for me, I think that if you are able to address the issue of self-medication, educate properly for people to know that any form of self-medication has a higher risk of putting you in a bad health situation. When people get afraid or get to understand reasons why they should not self-medicate, they won't even see reason going into these, going to meet these drug peddlers for medicine. The financial aspect of it, I mean, we have the National Health Insurance Scheme, but if you go to the hospital, a lot of, they'll tell you that literally the NHIS will help you get your card, will help you to meet the doctor, the consultation. They give you medicines. Most of the medicines are not catered for by the NHIS, even if they are catered. The hospital is telling you, we don't have these medicines. And so you are left on your own. You come back home. And so if we are even able to solve the behavioral aspect of it, and we don't tackle the financial and the access. So the person goes to the hospital, all right. He's given a prescribed medicine, but he can't afford it. So he comes home. And then he sees this same drug peddler and he's suffering. I know when people are sick, any form of help that they can get, they will take it.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
You know, so they meet this and say, oh, this medicine is the one that they've given you. Oh, I have this one. I can give it to you. You pay less, 5 times less. What you are going to pay.
They have an alternative.
Yes.
So, it's the same. It does the same function.
This one is the same, you know. Even this one is better, just that the people have not seen it yet. Oh, it's correct. Ask this man. I gave him some last week. And then funny enough, there'll be somebody there who will tell you, I took it last week and it worked. And so the person will go in and take it. And so then the implementation aspect of it. So I think that authorities will have to work together if you're able to solve this. Because the problem is that tomorrow, somebody will take this unlicensed medicine and it may give him a kidney problem. Now, a kidney problem that the drug peddlers, no matter what they can do, cannot solve. And so you would have to go to your regular hospital. What happens at your regular hospital is that now it increases the cost that the government will have to put on in the budget for health generally. And so it's in the interest of all stakeholders, the individual, the government, the pharmacists, the CEO, everybody, to make sure that we coordinate all the legs to this particular problem and bring an end to it.
We've seen the FDA making some moves. There's been some occasional swoops. We've seen one in the eastern region. The most recent one was in the Ashanti region, where they went to racecourse and seized some drugs off the market. We understand some 6 persons were also arrested. We want to see more of that, so at least we can rid the streets of these unlicensed drug peddlers and ensure that the right thing is done to, ensure our safety, our health, and of course reduce the burden, financial burden, and as well the risk burden on government. Well, this is CNR Extra here on Citi TV, still to come. Ghanaian women urged to celebrate each other in a bid to overcome gender-based inequalities and discrimination at the workplace. We'll tell you more shortly. Do stay with us.
Sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this: a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes, just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama, just to remind Mama how truly beautiful she is. Join us on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the Citi Gardens, number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the A Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner now. For more enquiries, call 020-5973-973. The Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
Welcome back. This is CNR Extra here on Citi TV. Join us with your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions via our socials and, of course, the WhatsApp number on the screen. Now, the issue of education infrastructure and its accompanying challenges seems to not want to go away. Let's throw the spotlight on the Feteman Senior High School in this report.
Officials of the Feteman Senior High School in the Central Region, that is in the Central Region, are complaining about the lack of basic infrastructure to run the school. They say the lack of accommodation for teachers and other staff of the school is affecting teaching and learning. Home economics students of the school are forced to do practicals under trees, while science students study under the improvised conditions that are in the school. The lack of accommodation for teachers has resulted in the school not having permanent teaching staff to aid in teaching and learning. Our correspondent in the Central Region is Calvis Tete.
This is the Feteman Senior High School in Gomwafete in the Central Region. It was built as a community day senior high school in February 2013 by the United Nations High Commission for Refugee as a way of showing appreciation to the chiefs and people of Gomwafete for releasing a piece of land for the settlement of refugees from Liberia at the Budumburam camp. It currently has a population of over 1,500, but the huge population of the school does not correlate with the infrastructure of the school, putting a lot of burden on teaching staff and administration. According to the headmistress of the school, Madam Stella Mautokwame, the accommodation situation is getting worse as teachers trek miles to get to school, sometimes delaying the start of academic work. Home economic students of the school are forced to do cooking practice under trees, where they sometimes struggle to deal with the wind, while science students study and do practicals in a makeshift structure. Occasionally, when there is an external activity such as external examination in the only auditorium in the school, children are forced to sit under trees and even use the same venue as a dining hall. Here is the headmaster of the school, Stella Mautokwame, speaking to Citi News about their challenges.
Lack of accommodation for staffs. Even me as the head, I am in a rented premises in town, which is far off from the school. This hampers supervision in the school. We have only limited number of teachers staying on campus, touching and give their best to the school. It's affecting teaching and learning a lot. As we all know, with the intervention that the government has planted, where we can have early morning classes and then late evening classes for children. Those who manage to come do that under stress because the location of the school from town, where they all stay, is a bit far, and in and out 20 cities. So if a teacher is confronted with financial problems, he can't come. You can just imagine the youth left on their own or under a little supervision. 1,100 boarders, where we have only about 7 teachers on campus. See, we have only one hall, one auditorium that says all social gathering celebration. If we are writing in that hall, it means dining hall and all other social gathering takes place under the tree over here. Just imagine in the rainy season when children are seated here eating and it's raining. I think you know what it means. Arranging and rearranging the hall to suit a particular program also affects the furniture we have. Say they will supply us with furniture, and within the shortest time, about 2/3 are broken down. And just imagine science studied under improvised condition. Home economics done under tree. At times they put on their fire to cook, and the wind blows it off. So just imagine these people having practicals, and the fire keep on going off. So our appeal that such essential laboratories should be built for us.
Board chairman of the school, Elvis Joe Annan, who was speaking at the launch of the 10th anniversary celebration of the school, says they are planning to raise funds to build accommodation for the headmistress and his assistants who are also not on campus, adding that issues of limited classrooms for students cannot be left out of the equation.
As a boarding school, you need to have at least a headmistress, the senior housemaster and the senior headmistress to be on campus to take care of these children. But this one is lacking. The main focus of the anniversary is that we should be able to raise funds to build at least a bungalow for the headmistress to stay on campus to make sure that she sees whatever happens, so that if there's anything, at least we can ask her. But if you don't have teachers or the leaders stay in the school throughout to make sure that they see what the children are doing, then it becomes a challenge for the children. So if you are not careful, you see that children may be what? Limited classroom is an issue. What it means is that we are going to have our crowded classrooms. And when the classroom is crowded, definitely it is going to affect the children. Therefore, we are appealing to government and the NGOs who can support us to come and help make sure that we provide enough adequate classrooms for their children.
The District Director of Education, Francisca de Graaf Johnson, shares with Citi News efforts they have made in ensuring that the infrastructure deficit is reduced, but has not yielded any results.
If the head mistress is on campus, the senior house master and the senior house mistresses are accommodated here. It will ease their supervision work and then monitoring as well. We have written to NGOs, the district assembly, and all other stakeholders to help us to solve the accommodation problem in the school, because we know government is doing its best but cannot do all.
Despite the infrastructure deficit, students of the school excel at all levels of education ladder, although many are admitted with relatively poor results.
Indeed, the school has chalked a success or a lot of achievement in spite of scarce resources. And we so kudos to the head, the teaching and the non-teaching staff for their miraculous work for bringing the school this far. We also pray that as we launch to the anniversary today, we also pray that all well-meaning Ghanaians and all stakeholders to come on board, and so that we make the 10th anniversary celebration of the school a mega one.
It's actually important that more is done to improve education infrastructure, especially now that we are investing so much in access through the free senior high school policy. I think the infrastructure should also be upgraded to match up with the numbers that we are taking in, because suffice to say that we are running the shift system or the track system now. And so, there might be some level of reduced pressures. But imagine if all these numbers were in school at the same time. There will be too much pressure on existing infrastructure.
There's one thing that we as a people agree with, that education is very important.
Paramount.
Even to a large extent, we want to make a point that education should be one of the things that we send politics to, that we allow political actions to dictate the progress of our education. There's that overriding understanding. But for whatever education that we are giving to the young people, for it to be quality enough, accommodation is key. When you're talking about accommodation challenges for students and also lack of bungalows, you want, if the head mistress has no accommodation on campus, you wonder if there's a housemaster who has accommodation on campus. Do they have enough teachers who will take care of these students? Everybody, a number of people have gone through secondary school education in Ghana, and you understand how the guidance of teachers is essential in making sure that you bring out students who not only will go to school to learn, but will also learn the very essential skills of living and becoming a good adult. And I think some of these things is important that government and relevant stakeholders and even NGOs who are into some of these things help some of these schools. For media, we can touch on the problem, but the help must come from relevant authorities.
All right, well said. Let's move into our next story and highlight the importance of women supporting women.
Ghanaian women have been encouraged to celebrate each other and share their stories. This call for women empowerment comes at a time when women are facing various challenges, including gender-based violence, inequalities, and discrimination in the workplace. General Manager of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Schools, Mrs. Marian Jemima Ekwia Ajuro, said crucial tools and resources must be provided to women to succeed. There's more in this report by our correspondent in the Volta region, Desmond Selassie Ago.
In recent years, women empowerment has become a topical issue around the world. Across various industries and sectors, women have been fighting for their rights and equality, and progress is being made. In Ghana, women are increasingly using social media to speak out about issues affecting them, from gender-based violence to unequal access to education and employment opportunities. While this can be a powerful tool for advocacy and social change, it can also expose women to harassment, abuse, and threats. In a Citi News interview during a women consultative dialogue under the theme, Accelerating Equality and Empowerment, an interactive dialogue with women in leadership, in Ho, General Manager of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Schools, Mrs. Miriam Jimema Akwa Ajuri, said, women should desist from pulling down each other and must tell their own stories and celebrate each other. According to her, the contribution of women towards national development must be told.
Yes, women do not tell their stories. Women do not celebrate colleague women. What I have come to know is that when a woman is highly educated, she's innovative, she's creative, she's highly skilled, she is tagged. She's disrespectful. They will say, you are disrespectful. This woman is disrespectful. They ever say, Mebu amo, umbuade. You see, if we begin to move away from that kind of language, and then we celebrate our women, we empower them, we change the narrative. Women should tell other women's stories. Things will change. Because when a woman is educated, when a woman is empowered, we know the rest that follows. There should be a lot of education. Reasons why women should celebrate women. Women should celebrate their colleague women. We shouldn't wait. The men are doing so well. We shouldn't wait for them to celebrate us. We should celebrate ourselves and celebrate our colleagues. We should be confident. We should come out there and tell our stories, the very, very positive stories that bring change. The role of women, their contribution to nation development. We should tell those stories, although there are times men feel...
Well, there are so many stories that can inspire and encourage other young women to live up to. I mean, we have so many examples. We wouldn't want to mention names here, but there are so many examples. And I believe to an extent their stories are out there to motivate the younger ones, to inspire them to go out there and to achieve. And so I think this is actually a good call.
I mean, we should do everything, women empowerment. I mean, if you look at it statistically, if you look at the numbers, the number of women we have as to the number of men, if it goes to the point that we need to make sure that we empower a lot more women and everybody needs to come on board. Government, in your own life or in your own small corner, any way that you can do to empower women. And generally, not only about women, but to give an opportunity for anybody to become good. I think it's one that we are entreated as. Once you consider yourself as a human being, it is something that you should be looking at doing.
Women empowerment is actually important, and I feel more should be done, especially for the women who really have achieved in society. I mean, you can pick up some of these younger ones as mentees, mentor them, so that they can also learn the ropes and, of course, go out there and be great persons. Well, this is still CNR Extra here on Citi TV, still to come. Citi FM and Citi TV's family consecration service underway at the Winners Chapel in Accra. We'll bring you details of that shortly. Do stay with us.
It's day 3 already. Setting off from Kumasi, Noda Hotel. It promises to be a long but exciting trip to Bolga. Passing through the famous Jinijini and Tuopodom, the commercial town of Techiman, through to Kintampo, to Tamale, Savalugu, Wale, and finally Bolga Tanga. As the hours wear on, the landscape also transforms from the tropical forest of Ashanti and Puno areas to the savanna plains of the northern and upper regions. Join us on this exciting episode episode of the Heritage Caravan Diaries Day 3, showing every weekday on Citi TV.
Welcome back. Grateful that you stayed on with us. Now, Citi TV and Citi FM's family consecration service is underway at the Winners Chapel here in Accra.
All is set for Citi FM and Citi TV's that's the annual family consecration service, which comes off on Monday, May 1, 2023. The service will bring together families to pray for God's guidance, protection, and blessings for the rest of the year. The event will take place at Winners Chapel, Ghana, Accra, opposite the OA bus terminal at Circle. For those of you who may have missed previous editions, the following report brings you a teaser of what to expect.
Every year, the Family Consecration Service kicks off the station's Family Month activities. The service gives thousands of listeners and viewers the opportunity to converge and intercede on behalf of their families. The service is characterized by songs of worship to the Most High and songs of praise to get the congregation dancing. The 2023 Family Consecration Service will be led by Citi FM and Citi TV's resident pastor, Reverend Stephen Wengam, and other members of the Citi pastoral team, including Reverend Fred McDavis, Reverend Mauli Chikata, Reverend Foster Mauli Benson, and others.
I'm proud to Family Consecration. We have a team of prayer warriors who go into hiding for 30 days, 40 days. But this time we have escalated it. Seasons of prayer. And I remember one particular year, there was this lady in a wheelchair. Prayer time, she just jumped out and started walking. You know, wow. CDFM don't make raise Christians to become dependent on we the pastors. Yeah. We facilitate your relationship with God, your growth. We facilitate the reception of your miracle. So, no preaching, prayer, worship. It's at the tail end that we do anointing service. One particular year, the Lord laid on our heart, we prophesied 500 babies. And guess what? The following year, testimonies of couples who are married for 20 years, 16 years, 12 years, came with babies. Don't come there for comfort. You come just to locate. Just locate a place. That's all. And then that's all. But there are people who don't even want to go into the auditorium. They just want to be outside and be praying. And so just locate a place, a space for yourself, for you and your family, and then just move into prayer.
Several followers and participants in the Family Consecration Service held in the previous years have shared various testimonies of breakthroughs from the program.
I came for my breakthrough. It was very, very great. I get my breakthrough, I will heal, my family all heal. I'm going with my blessing to my house. Yes. Yes, this is my first time. And I was very touched. I remember very well that when I started this program, I was having HND, and I had admission to go and do my first degree in public administration. I had admission to go and do postgraduate diploma, and I went and did my master's in governance and leadership. And I remember very well that I think 6 years ago or 6 years ago when we came here, I told God that, look, where I'm working, I don't like it, so I want to change a job. So I put my application on the platform. And so during the prayers, I was praying. And behold, I got a new job, and that is where I am now.
This year, I really enjoyed myself this year, because last year, we did the virtual, that 24 hours something, we did it at home, and then today I've really enjoyed myself. We're here to renew our vows we pray with the family, and then we trust God that God has really heard us and answered us.
I renew my vow to hear again, so we are happy.
And God willing, the testimonies are on the way coming. Yes. And moreover, I'm also blessed to be here this morning, though this is my first time of experiencing it. But
Well, Citi News' David Nilate is currently at the Action Chapel here in Accra, where the family consecration service is underway. He's joining us via telephone to give us updates of how the event or the program has gone on so far. Many thanks to you, Ni, for joining us. Kindly paint us a picture of how the service has been held so far.
Well, so Nana, first, let me say that we gathered at the Winners Chapel, Ghana, North Industrial Area, Accra, and not the Action Chapel.
Right,
and so thousands of congregants have gathered here as part of our annual family consecration service. As we speak, a resident pastor at Citi TV and Citi FM, Reverend Stephen Wingham, is leading the rededication of marriages of couples who have gathered here at the auditorium. As you may be well aware, prayers have been said, especially for families. Marriages have also been rededicated, as well as, other aspects of family life. So it's a packed auditorium here at the Winners Chapel, Ghana. The team of pastors at Citi FM and Citi TV have also led various intercessory prayers for the thousands of people who have gathered here. And so, if any viewer has not found this way here, it's almost ended. So we will encourage that next year they will also gather here for us to have this spiritual activity. And so that is what is happening here at the Winners Chapel, Ghana.
Right. Now, finally, before you go, we know that prayers are always said on specific topics. Then, of course, there's the rededication of marriages. But one thing that usually stands out is the praises and worship session. How was it this year?
Indeed, it was a powerful one. If you see how, the congregants have danced and then danced off their feet here, you would realize that it's not only about the prayers, but also the praises and worship is something that they prioritize. And so, Nana, for the service, as you all know, was led by Reverend Willie Wright, Reverend Michael Noabenu, Reverend Fred McDavis, the resident pastor himself, Reverend Stephen Wingham, Reverend Mauli Chikasa, Reverend Nelson Awinta, and then Reverend Mauli Benson. So, like you rightly indicated, it was a hot praise and worship session here. Various, worship songs and praises songs were, ministered here by the team of, praise and worship that we have here. And so it was not just about the prayers, but also praises and worship was also prioritized as part of the service that we've all witnessed here at the Winners Chapel, Ghana, as part of the 2023 edition of the Family Consecration Service, Nana Tifo.
All right, thank you very much, Nilate there. He's with us here at Citi TV and Citi FM, bringing us or painting us a picture of the Family Consecration Service. Trust that we'll be bringing you highlights, of course, a more detailed reportage in our subsequent bulletins here on Citi TV and, of course, on 97.3 Citi FM. Well, this will be our show for today. This has been CNR Extra here on Citi TV. I did that with Hansen Ajiman. Hansen, it's like you want to say something.
Oh, I just want to wish all workers a happy Labor Day. I mean, they deserve it. They are the builders of Ghana. Of course, we are also workers. We also workers. We are the builders.
All right. Thank you very much, Hansen, and many thanks to you for choosing us at this hour. My name is Nanatu Fuobwate. Keep watching Citi TV.